Ta kogido,
Okay.
ta tarila.
Okay. Yes, yes.
Thank you very much.
Please make sure that the translation room record click the recording button first before the main room.
Okay. This is no
Room
office.
already record.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody here, right?
So has everybody already assembled? If Lama Abu starts now, is it okay?
Yes, please, Lamala. Yes, please, Diane.
Okay. Okay. Tene. Da. Rajana the Yuba. Tene Chudo Samala. Tahi Delay in Kadinche. Tene the correct name Marinda. Then Susu Takonos Karina, the Samala. The Kokam Namala Tujiche, Kadinche, Tahi Delay.
So first of all, I would like to say hello to all of you, my Dharma friends who have gathered here today. And I'm very grateful that you have all come. And also I would like to extend my gratitude and my thanks to all who helped to make this happen, to all that organized it. Miranda and Susu and all of the others who contributed to be helping here for this gathering. And so I would like to say thank you to all of you and Natashi Delay.
Okay. Then mana lu luna sem semna lu tende jengane tene samake chu ninja tang den lapart tene sanjo sem si simple gone tene chu ten niro chis.
And so today I will give some explanation on some answers or address some questions. There are a few questions about the practice of Vajrakalaya. And so I will spend some time answering these questions. And whenever it is that we take in the Dharma teachings, when we're listening to Dharma teachings, it is said that first, settle your body down into your seat, then collect and gather your mental energies in, and release and relax your mind. And in this way, then please listen to the Dharma teaching. And in particular, especially, hold the mind of bodhicitta.
Tene tonda jomden deka tene chus tambo songde tene lekpar nyona yela songche songdo gelong nam gelong nam lekpar nyona yela songche song tene songo yore tene lekpar nyon songde tene nyon bando chache dang tomok so tene dega wang ndo ma songpa tene chutela lunga yin sum jek de drando ne tene chinin gum batang tene de nin ba te tene yila zong ne what tene je si bo yoris.
So with regard to this, the Buddha first said to all of the disciples that were gathered to the assembly and the students that were gathered, he said to his close disciples, always he started his teachings with, now all of you monks, please listen well. And so he started his teaching with, now please all of you listen well. And this is a very significant point, actually. And what does this mean? And what this means is to free your mind of any desirous thoughts, any hatred, and any ignorance, any of the afflictions. Make sure that your mind is unpolluted, undefiled with any of the afflictions. Rid yourself of the afflictions, and then gather together single-pointedly the energies of body, speech, and mind. And it is from this perspective that one should then take in the topic of the teachings.
Okay, karma tan terma ni yorwa tene da terma ris terma na ne tene ta choa jepa mari choa depa ri tene dala che nyong na dong sapo mangbo yore tene chasan ha ko go mari tene kangshi shin da la gwe yin tene zo wo ta ta ji lama controller tene depa ta 이치 근데 생긴나 닝네 제와 산조 선단된 베고네 냠스 랑데나 텐텔라 노와던 초와체 요 말이데 곰시나 야보리 고마시나 당가와다 쪼와다 당 프파 덴데 냠니 시죠 고카브라파 아치 가르조글로 다 얘기 탐제 냠니시 저 사다나 탐제 나그 라란 조와 냠니시 시저 그 고갑송아 대 탐제 순남 첨보를 된 상하가 주도 배자 첨보를 단단데 냠스 린조 저단 맥은 통조 대 탐제 오늘 순남 첨보를 산 가와다 쪼와게 거네더니 냠니세 되나더니 세나비오리스
So now, with regard to teaching and giving instructions on VAJRAKILAYA, then I will do my best. I will do this to the best of my ability. And actually, there are VAJRAKILAYA texts and practices that are of both the karma and dharma lineages, so both the word lineage and the treasure revealed lineages. And within these two, then this particular practice text is a text within the treasure, revealed treasure lineage. And there are both extensive versions and more concise and condensed versions. And the one here is a more condensed version. But actually, it is really very rich in meaning and really has just incredibly profound meaning in this concise, revealed treasure text. And so I will instruct on this the best I can. And principally, what's important is that one approaches this from the perspective, so one practices from the perspective of a deep faith and trust in the Lama and in the three jewels. So with faith and trust in the Lama and the three jewels, and with love and caring and concern for our fellow sentient beings, then now I practice and I take up this practice. And it's from this perspective that we learn to engage in these practices. And this really sets the foundation of our habits, of the way that we practice it. And actually, with this foundation of faith, trust, and love and caring, then this also brings to our hearts this happiness to practice, this devoted and really happy interest to practice VAJRAKILAYA. And then also we recall that this is really an incredibly fortunate opportunity to even set eyes upon the sadhana and to practice this sadhana. It's really like incredibly fortunate. And this is so inspirational. And this should really bring us great delight that we are so meritorious. This is a great merit that we have to practice this profound text. And so we generate great happiness and delight and inspiration at our great fortune and the great blessings that we have to practice such a really profound text.
Okay, then that Javate, I can get into on sir. No, then I get Palin Jamna. Then you can love you.
Okay, and so we've received some questions, and so I'll read the first question, and then Lama Abu will give his explanation and response. So the first question is, I have heard that when practicing wrathful deities, such as VAJRAKILAYA, that if we practice in the wrong way, we will take rebirth in the animal realm. Is this correct? And how do we avoid this?
Papa Nyamli, the wrong way, then that Tela Koan Nishando, Karisina. Jacksona, Koran Soget, Yapo Nyamlin si Mahipata. Then the way in so, oh man, that Papa Nyamlin si, then the Chingak, Gunhon, Malapa, no Doyanda, Samang in Banchani chick. Malatendajik, Samu Ina. They couldn't you check the see Mahipata and check that the young some in Banchan the proper drum the man no but I know then thou need some in Corso they do the Tambote that proper Yamni season Yamni season te Yabu see Mahina so the Dutch proper Yamni gom te Yabu see Mahina then the check inane. Then so te pari rwa, then te pa, dor de propala, then te pata, yichita. Then the je yunane, then ta jinam te chasan gong machina, then pinyonta, senab usualis.
And so within this question, it was if we practice in the wrong way. So when we say in the wrong way, Lama Abu says that actually he can interpret two meanings to the wrong way. And the first is just not knowing how to practice. So therefore not having the details or the understanding. That's one aspect of wrong way. And the other way that we can understand in this question, wrong way, is having a perverted attitude, having a malicious intent, or approaching the practice to cause harm to others, thinking that the way to practice is to harm to others. This would also be the wrong way. And so, again, first is not knowing just the details of how to practice, and second is to have an incorrect motivation. Now, if we look at not knowing the right way, just being kind of having a lack of understanding of how to practice, well, the most important part of how to practice, what is really principal and central, is to come from a place of faith and trust. And that is the most important thing, to set your foundation in faith and trust. And therefore, even if one doesn't know all the aspects of the generation stage, all of the different particular parts of the generation stage, one is still coming from the right place. One is still approaching it in the right way, as long as one has that central faith and trust.
Okay, then the Perba. Da gomshina, then Lapjina na kare labdaba, then I then go tona, the Yabo Yori, then machina, then Rumbochik Tapar, Tambo Perba, Barlata, the part Megli, make the sort Yilali, some Yila lungs at the Tene, not Dorje Perba, then away, then that's at the home to Devashabla home, Mayo by the Gona. Tene yapo yori sundoa and tente let how riva
Tewala Nyinkala Hong Pom Kore.
Devala
Tewala.
Devala hong meyo patenaji ten gone.
And so when we have had an opportunity to really habituate and practice the VAJRAKILAYA sadhana, the way it is taught, then we can really internalize this. And really, the way we should meditate on the deity can become very integrated. We can really hold this meditation very well, just through practicing again and again and getting very habituated. However, if it's something we're not yet habituated to, if we can't remember all the details of the visualization, for example, like it says in the sadhana, that what Rinpoche, the advice and instruction that Rinpoche is always giving is that to first look at the picture of VAJRAKILAYA or a tanka. So physically with your eyes, put that in front of you. Look at the picture, look at an image of VAJRAKILAYA. And then hold it in your mind. You can close your eyes and hold it in your mind. Hold that visualization of VAJRAKILAYA in your mind. And looking at the picture, remember that image with the thought that I am VAJRAKILAYA and this is my form in your mind. And so we meditate like that. Now, so remembering this is the way, this is my form, but not being able to hold that complete visualization and all that detail, Rinpoche says it is simply enough, once you have that image in your mind, then to visualize on a hong in the aspect of a fire flame at the navel center, and then meditate on the deity in that way. And that is Rinpoche's instruction.
Okay, then it go long and but go net in ang Perba. Drumna, then that Delaki and Lako Yura, Lato, go long and but go on the drumna, then Delaki and Lako Yuris. The tender.
Kare ani kare dukure drebu kare
Dre,
or dre.
Delaki and Lako Yura. Then Tondola chain Hojori, then Tarpa Chimbin Nana, then Pamala, then Yabu Masena, then it Tondola chain to Sondoa, then Tropo, Dango Shibanda, Church, Gardin Chimbola Pam, then the Chizogolo, Gardin Samshi Marina, then Tondola chain of Sondo, Tarpa Chimbin.
And now addressing the second aspect of if we practice in the wrong way, meaning from an incorrect motivation, meaning a perverted motivation or intention of practicing to want to cause harm. And this in particular comes about when we practice the wrathful deities. It is said that If we practice the wrathful deities with the wrong intention, then this leads to the fruition of becoming a rebirth in the spirit realm or in the animal realm. And also the Buddha has said in the Great Liberation Sutra that if we do not practice well, then we can take a lower rebirth in this way. And in the same way, the Drokpo Dango Shepa Samshimena.
Yeah, Kadin Chimbo Pama Tang, Tene, Rana Kadin Chimbo Tinte, Tamjula Pa, Kadin Jidin Mipa, Tintus Vena, Tene, Tendol Chin Sondua.
And as well, if those that are very kind to us and that we should actually have respect and gratitude for, such as our parents, those that raised us, our friends, those that help us, if we're disrespectful or inconsiderate to them and have a bad attitude towards them as well, this is the fruition of the result. It is the birth as an animal as an animal realm.
Okay.
And so now the second question. Second question is, first, I would like to thank Lama and the organizers. And dear Lama, please guide us on how to consecrate the Perba in a correct way. And do we need to do the Perba consecration daily or monthly? And also, what are the purposes and benefits of consecrating the Perba?
Okay, the purpose of Yuna Tambo Sinat, Kanagoli Lando Yura, the purpose of Yuna, then purpose of Sedin, Mine Chimbo Nari, Chumchong Nari, Kalaya, Sedan Dimbache, Ogo Yores, then Heng Nari, Sang Nari, Ja Nari, Nur Nari, Si Nari, then tell Sedin Ugo Yores. Then the purpose of Allah, then Yunker Johnny Katzak, the same Johnny Katzak, Sumban of Yendo. Master City Euro, Nikazak 21. The same Johnny Katzak, Sumba Yendo. Then Koranla. Gerchen la re mar project home project tende je gori song do o ta tende je so tene master ta si te tene lama thamje ke sinlab sei ka to proper drum ne on benza kala zen himba mambo sa ne sinlab sei ka to tende je yu go yo res
oh la so
tende proper ke la pha da Get a sadu, then it doesn't go change it, sir. Dam, what to say?
Lasso, the Yunkar Nisu sa chick the Dargi Nangla Yorabe.
Dagnana yo marite, kakala red, nana tongurva.
Oh, Lasso, yeah. Ani di semchok sana?
Semchok, and proper saying you could success the Yoruba.
Oh, Lasso, yeah.
Proper say, yeah. And it's saying you could success the Tata Mampo Yore.
Okay.
Same chon you could success on.
And so.
Tend out the Funzi indoors, Samsung.
Ani di ngak, mixelgi ngak dunne, di ngak kare.
Yeah, proper can don't understand up say shadow you go.
And on VAJRAKILAYA.
Yeah, on Kalaya down, then it do back and hand out, don't up say cut to energy you go your is.
And so when we first get the so first, as to the first aspect of that question, to consecrate a new Perba. So first of all, we have to understand that the the Perba is endowed, say dang den, the nupa dang den, nangshen yingere, say den.
Sedin is the Mune Pupala, Tak Koranla, Tene Chembo ona, Chembola, Tene size, Chungchong size, Tata Ugora, Kashe Pupung, Ta Juris, Pupatam, Kashe, Go Chembo, Tung Tong read the end of the Cheda Dimba Mariwa.
Oh, lasso.
Then Pupa Chembo ona, Chembo Nanjin, Chungchong Nanjin, go. June song you back. Can't you go on a 10 go your massa? Then Dam does can you man use out of Rio Mara?
And so with regard to the new Perba, then there is attention placed to the detail on the size and proportion of, for example, the actual stake part of the Perba compared to almost like the head, like the top part of the Perba. So whether we have a really like large Perba, then it still should be in proportion. And then if it's a really small Perba, like a smaller Perba, it will have a smaller stake, but a smaller head as well. So there is attention to the shape and size of the different parts of the Perba. And that's really important. Lama Abu said, it's not like we can use anything, any size, like a really long stake and short head. It's really formed specifically. And sometimes the Perba could be made of different materials, though. Sometimes it's wood or sky iron or copper, chakyang, so different metals. And so anyway, so we have that original Perba, and then to consecrate it, then tied around the top of the Perba are mustard seeds. And in particular, there are 21 mustard seeds that have been endowed with mantra that the Lama will have said mantra over and then, blowed on the mustard seed. And these 21 mustard seeds represent and symbolize the 21 sons or heirs of Vajrakalaya, the 21 sacred sons of Vajrakalaya. And so that's tied in a separate little packet around the top of the Perba. And then also there is a red ribbon, like a piece of ribbon, and a blue piece of ribbon tied around the neck of the Perba. And then the mantra is said, Om VAJRAKILAYA. And then, so there are the two in particular mantras of Vajrakalaya that are said. There is the first mantra and then kind of the repelling mantra. And so many mantras are said, and that's over the Perba, and that is the first consecration.
Okay, then Nepal, then Perba, Mintar, and Davare in the Sinab Guru Landua. Then Tangazo Perba Dipchin don't so, then Nimatapar, Sinab Goku Yuris. Then Tangazo Sana Dumadona. Then Haven do Pacapso, then Propala. Then Propacasin Lab Trap Dog, so soon as you are. Cogur dog, Yonkar Trap, Raktaso, Zujute, Tantani Propasin Lab de Goku Yuris.
Nimatakbar, Samla de Pecapsu, Shoge Kundela.
Samla de Pecapsu, Nimatambo Telamado, Yindal Goku Yujimari.
Oh, lasso.
Joan Sobacapsu, Nimatabar Gore.
Oh, lasso.
Also, Joa Dukin Sorwa. Wouldn't do and so the Nimatabar Yuri. Timare, Arizona, and Nimatabar Timare, you are.
Mm,
Then Sala Dena, Nimatabar Godimarit in the
mhm, mhm. Nimatang Shude.
Yeah.
And so with regard to the frequency of then thereafter that initial consecration, how often do we need to do the Perba consecration? If we're staying in retreat, if one is staying in retreat, then the very first day of retreat, one would do the Perba consecration, just like it is in the sadhana, where it is encompassed with burning like incense and Google, and then cast mustard seeds upon it, and then it is smeared in rakta. So there is this whole ritual for the consecration in the sadhana, and that would be done on the first day of a retreat. Now, if one was doing a Drupchen, a great accomplishment practice, Lama Abu said, like we do in GBI when we do the Kalaya, then every day we do this consecration of the Kila, and that would be every day. But if you're in retreat, it's the first day.
Okay, then Propala Karis and the Senat Siguri, Pino Kanyori, Lando, then Propala at the Senat Sigori, Karisina, na tene Lama Topan Tumbo, Tamji getini, Lama Tamjila Senap Shuna, tene Lama Tamjike, Kona Bake, tene Lamsang, Jizo Latin, then Propatala, Fly Hipa Unsa Tam Choka Yoris. Tene Ben Malare Namtan and Yua. Malari Namtan and Majeke, Dorje Pamoke, Tankaje, Koyum, Malare Bala, Chinap, Sinap Jiroji City, then Malare Back, Meton Torrent, then Dorje Pom, Nankani, Mr. Pam, then Tanka Temsondoa, Megan Tonya Yuba. Then I get in, I took a tender to make a manton, then Lama Kona, but Toba, send up the Dimba Tamjek, then Yeshiba Tamjek, then. Prepara, tendency, and that's another thing. Then now, Nuba mean I am prepared to tennis and up Nuba. Then it and the Yunkuris. How consonant?
So now, what are the benefits of consecrating the Perba? What is the meaning and purpose, and what are the benefits that come from this? Well, actually, when we consecrate the Perba, especially, for example, when high lamas of great accomplishment then do the consecration ritual, actually, this is the transformation into the wisdom being, then embodying in the Kalaya, becoming the deity, the wisdom deity. And so that's the reason. And so actually there is a story. So the gurus of great accomplishment and great high mastery, this is something that we can't see with our eyes, but there is a ritual that during the ritual, actually, there is a transformation of becoming of the deity now descending into the Perba. So there is the story in the histories of a story about Milarepa. And so there was someone who came before Milarepa and had a tanka of Vajra, of Vajravarahi Marube. And Vajra Yogini, Vajravarahi, and she brought Milarepa a tanka and said, "Can you please bless consecrate and bless this tanka. And so Milarepa tossed a flower towards the up towards the tanka, just tossed it in the air, and then down from the sky descended Dorje Pamo and down into the tanka, and she then embodied into the tanka. And so it is this realization, so it evokes the realization that brings about the actual presence of the deity into that object. And so even, for example, we can say that even if I don't have these powers myself as a person to perform these actions that then occur into the sadhana, the deity does. And so we evoke the powers and the presence of the deity. And that's the purpose of the consecration of the Perba.
Kugurdo, tene yonkar trap, rakta sugete, tene kugurdo gete, tachi trupala, kare lagota, nongandung jen hakoyo, nongandung.
Sadhana druptap nangla yena.
Kugurdo yate kare risina. Kugurdo yate kare risina, kugurdo du tene trupala. Purpa Koranke, Gate Tamche, Tene Parte Nubatan Dimbar.
Oh, that's so.
Tendeche Sehiuris, Perna, Magic Mal and Rogona, and Nicola, Lachate Banayi. That Lachat Funcha Yabona, Tene Parda Su Tugurua. Tene Metala, Tene. Tragic language. Naso tragic una reva tragic. Tragic una teni trate. Make sharpen those yuri. Oh, teni kugurdo ya teni get them to part train about a dimba. Tambo te took a yuri, the yina ya, the shock chair on Zoyuri.
So the first aspect of the consecration of the kila is to encompass it in a smoke of what is called Google, this wrathful smoke of Google. And what is the purpose of this? So as the Perba is surrounded by all of this wrathful smoke, it endows the Perba with the power to cast away all difficulties and harm doers. It casts them away. So it now possesses the power to cast away all hindrances and harm doers. And so it's like if we were to, if there was someone who wanted to rid themselves of others that needed to scare away or cast away others, make them run away and go away, we might use a weapon. We might pick up a weapon and scare them. And so they would run away and they would go away. And so this Google is like taking something that is a weapon to cast them away. Now the Perba already has that ability. It already has the ability, but the Google smoke now amplifies it. It makes the power to cast away hindrances and harm doers even more powerful, even more capable. It's like taking a knife. If we were to take a knife that we were going to scare someone away with and really sharpen it, make it really long and sharp. And in the same way, Google really empowers and enables the Perba to cast away and scare away, far away, all hindrances and harm doers.
Okay, then Yunkar Trako Yuri, then Yunkar Tabdi, Yunkar Take, then Tam Pupa Korangla, then gate tamche tene pa train ba pa tarang bol train ba and dimba no tende check sehi yoris.
Mhm. And so then we cast mustard seeds upon the Perba. That's the second part of the consecration. And now the Perba through the Google has been made into a weapon that will now be used to be very effective towards harm doers. And now the mustard seeds make it that these hindrances, these hindering spirits will go far, far away. So now mustard seeds now make it so that there is really some great distance, that the hindrances not only go away, but go far, far away.
Yeah, yunkala tene talk go na yin, wana yin tene amtek dan de ba. Tene ji yu la ko yuri yunkala. Tene gate tamche hehe sarwa. Then then talk wa mang pom then tene gate tamche tarang bol drindo wasare.
And so the Google makes it into that sharp weapon that scares, that is able to harm them and send them away. And the mustard seeds endows the Perba with a big, frightening, scary head, where hindering spirits might look at it and want to run far, far away. If you were to see something like with a really scary appearance, you'd want to run far, far away. And so the mustard seeds then transform the head of the Perba into a scary sight.
Yunkar tela ngaso chep tsani te pe tena teni go na ji to go na ji amtek dan de ba bel dan de ba na ji yori la ko yori
Amchik
amtek
oh okay.
And the dan de ba na ji yori
So it's tied. So the mustard seeds, then they
Any get time they get any toe or mambo to the tongue, the get on the retin rosarva.
Lasso, the Yunkargi trap mare, the gorgi colore. The Nisu Sachiki gorgi Yunkar. Yamena.
Mare, Yunkar Taka Yura,
Yunkar trap. Lasso, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yunkar trap the Yunkar te la talk and go na yin yuris talk and go na yin. Koran zopta.
Yeah.
Tene tene up propa la Yunkar town, the tene propa Koran ke tene get time to part young ball ten about the ba. Tene Yunkar get time to Yunkar tone do tene talk at one month our tongue, get time to Shanghai Charasariwa. I'm saying down there, but make chamber tene and the
Lasso. And so Hakoson. And so all of these little mustard seeds, right? There are these shapes of these little spherical mustard seeds like a head. But when they're cast at in the consecration at the Perba, they transform into these scary heads with like a gaping, like a mouth that is like scary and overhanging teeth. And so when the hindering spirits see the Perba, they see all of these wrathful heads, these ugly, fierce, wrathful heads, all surrounding the Perba. And the Perba is very scary, and so they run.
Okay. Teni rata so rata. Rata so yete teni 17 tamke tokze wa chimbe jisen zemba. Ke sunko sares.
Semchen tamche la.
Ya dokpa ji namla thong choking kansum jin rowa la jis chakwa jesung de ne ta ji ma dokpa ji marongba thamche la tani chazoglo hedang lang tani semji thamche la sol hinje ke thokje wa chim jisun zimba ta ten da wo tani ten da wo ren do ta.
And then the third step is the smearing the perba with rakta. And this symbolizes holding all sentient beings with great love and compassion. All the beings of the three realms with great love and compassion. Ani mi dupola.
Tene dokpa ji nam churang propa ti ye yue.
You're
Tana kare lang dokpa ji nam la thong choking kansum jin rowa la jis chakwa jesung do. Dokpa ji nam na zena tene ma marong pa tene korang la korang ke tene lengi ba sa shoda sa ne tene de tham je marong pa tham je pha drar tene semjin pa che kare zo jinda tham je sol tugin zin ne ta yina ya marong pa tham je korang to semjin ri wa yina ya ne kap korang so la hinji chimbu ngang de tene pam dran tene thokje wa chimbu a jisin zin bu dala tende che rin wa.
And so now in the text, it says, with regard to the step of the smearing with rakta, that now the Kila, filled with furious compassion for all evil ones, the sublime son becomes passionately concerned for all beings of the three realms. And there's a distinction here, Lama Abu said, is that there is the understanding that some beings in the three realms, due to negative karmas, have great negativities, and so the activity of the Kila would be to create a distance, to kind of have a loss of connection with those beings that have the negative karmas. So to cast them to a distance, those that have the negative karmas. And that understanding that they are sentient beings, and then temporarily for this period, that there needs to be a disconnection to those, to send them away, those with the negative karmas.
Tene perpa na love you minji driver senjin de se de ne ba ma yin no so tende je love you ro minji chimbo ka tene senjin me bar zo ko de tene mine nga so ko na se ba na yi maris tene a korang so leng ba kha tan je pa jogo jaba jang chi de tene sanje ga thok je wa chimbo ka tene sihi yoris pena matje ina matje ke nima tapar masung do ko na ko mad hase se kana ko madja so go na man ni khama to so lo me ben ko ni ko se kana pen ko me yinda ha de yoro tene ko ya shan ko ko madja mat ong ma bo so ndo ko ba ten da ta le ni ba sa de na tini yung rumpo de na tani lengi ma mambo sa no yoris de tani senjin sanje ke tani tokje wa chi bi ngane tani tende shi ga ko yori ma to ji mine na so na yi ne ko nga jar she dan ke ngane tani
And so here it says furious compassion for all evil ones. But yet still there is a passionate concern for all beings of the three realms. And so here what we really have to understand is that there is a wrathful activity that comes from the perspective of an enlightened being that really has great compassion. The basis is great compassion, though the activity is wrathfully compassionate. It's based in compassion, but with the understanding that if these beings continue, these beings continue through their negative karmas, negativities, their karmic tendencies and proclivities, if they continue to act in negative ways, that this could go on for a very long time. So putting this to a stop is actually a compassionate activity. So it doesn't come out of wrathful activity that might come from defiled, like when an ordinary person gets angry and mean and acts out. This comes from hatred and anger. But this act to stop sentient beings, negative activities, comes from compassion, not from negative poisoned afflictions.
Okay, I think that's Sanjay Namtan and Yuriwa. Sanjay Tsomba Ngabja, so job achieved in magic. Say, Tendit Lab Yuriwa, and that's Sanjay Kitty, Kong Mama Busu Shoda, the Nikon. Niba Tapchimbo Sai Shoda, and the Tendijan, the Medicine about it. Sanjay Onganya no Sound of Gerita. Nesu Pugama, the Korang man of the Sage and the Set. San Dang, then the sound Chango Mariwa. How goes on? Nasodona, oh, Taku Masin and the course and Nanya Sound of Gerita, and Naso Masu Pugamariwa. Sanjake, oh, that Korang man of the Tambas. Turn on the cover, man of the Su Hondo, that Korang. None of the sort of the Koran, say can a Yaksa, the Koran laying in Basaj orders. This Handy Koran Nanyawan and Hodala Ha Kona Yang, the Koran laying in Basaj order go net in it, and never say Shadora. Marive. So you understand, taking me man or TikTok, Nasan said Mariba. Then the Sanjay Namtan, Yoruba.
And so there is a story in there's a account in the life stories of the Buddha that in one of the former lives of the Buddha, he was on a ship and there were many people on the ship, and the Buddha, from his own knowing, knew that there was one person who was actually going to kill all the people, 500 people, and take over the ship. And the Buddha thought, I need to prevent this person from that great, really dire negative act of killing 500 people, these 500 people on the boat. And so the Buddha thought, if I kill that one person, he won't kill those 500 people. But if he kills 500 people, that is such a great negativity. It's such bad karma. So I want to prevent him from doing that. And so the Buddha cut him off from killing all of those people and gaining a great negativity, a great fault. But the Buddha knew that the Buddha himself at the time would take on the negativity of killing, and knew that he would go to the hell realms for this. But knowingly, he committed a harmful act, actually with the motivation of saving someone from really great negativity. And so Lama Abu said, you know, if it was one of us, would, you know, we think that, oh, I know I'm going to go to the hell realms and I'll go to hell to do this, to save this other person, you know, maybe we wouldn't do that. But the Buddha did this. Although it looked like a negative and a wrathful act, again, it was out of compassion.
All right. Then I saw doing a tambo. I saw Jake Hakuna. Oh, that I saw doing a tambo. Oh, that I saw Kanjo Hungary, not Kanjo course, and not Kanjo Hungary, some Tonya Mato. Not Carisona song, Koran, na La Chezogolo, or now some not months like Tambo, have some tongue to Yura, Majina some to Yomara. Then Cassie Magic Masu, oh, Tambo, Naso Su, you saw the way. Uncle Mato, oh, Tam Cook Masu, the type you see some of them cork cover about the summer Yabotana, Hansaya or indoor.
So this is actually really incredible that the Buddha came from this perspective, because if we think about it, when we're in like a really like scary situation, if something dangerous is happening around us, what do we usually think? Oh no, what's going to happen to me? That's what we always think about, really, whenever we're in a situation, is we think, oh, what is this? What's going to happen to me? And we don't think about the greater good of all the others and what's going to happen to them. We think about protecting ourselves. Oh no, I have to protect myself. What's going to happen to me? We don't usually go to the place in our mind where we think, oh, what, I've got to really find a way to really protect all of these others with no concern for ourselves. And so really, this is really quite remarkable.
Okay, then it Perba.
Sympathetic.
The Mario, don't Perba. Perba Caris in the Senat figure. Pinion Kanguri, Lando Pinion te. Ta Perba and Salon Hakori, Minnesota, and the Perba, Senapsi, and the Mando in this. Then it comes on, then new Mombad. Redoke, new Mombad on the young, then the sound na, sir, that the name on a home and your, the name on a home that the name same joke, turned in the data, same joke, near some the temper. Comes from Sipas on the one Jura, the name. Rumbo check that poor and our is on the roar poor.
Oh, that's so.
And poor double pinion you wrote and pinion chamber you said.
Okay. Shokran Katsure. Dunsun.
Not said that not the giant.
Oh, that's so. Okay, that's cool.
Giant japped and I just shop and a canon.
Okay. Let's see. So I'm just looking in the sadhana because now Lama Abu said that he would like to speak about what are the benefits of consecrating the Perba. And he said that if you actually read, we can read this within the text of the section of the sadhana on the Perba consecration, but basically it comes down to during the Perba consecration, there's a section where the beings of 3 realms are purified of all the negative emotions with Om Ahung. And then, they're purified, all of the beings of the 3 realms. And Rinpoche says that this section is like doing poa for all of the beings and all of the realms. And Lama Abu is reading from a different text, so just let me.
No sadhana.
Nusana dunchu dunje
79.
79. Okay.
New Mompa. Redrop and new ne jante. Do it. No Sadhna. That in bar, what in bar.
Okay, yeah,
Don't say.
I see it. Uh-huh.
Oh, that
Okay.
they Marlon, a corner sort of.
Lasso. Uh-huh. Okay, and so on page 79 in the new sadhana, it says the 6 afflicted states of beings living in the 6 realms of samsara are purified and transformed into the 6 seeds with Anri Sutri Predu. These 6 seeds then melt into light and transforming into Om Ahong. Ani dire rik druk ki nyomong pa
Okay.
nejang.
Yes, sure. In son dunitini, same joke, nesum to temper, consum si bus on a 1 year sitting time. Go out a dot on the summit and the dodgy pop and just on the tab. Never adopt a lot of me back hasarita.
And then it then says the light then gathers back and dissolves into the 3 places of the sublime sun and myself. The 3 realms are thereby brought under my power. And so
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
Sumpa?
Somebody
And so-
that Choling Purpa, Gaching Naborin dogs, Tini Purpa, Gaching, Humbo, the Marpo, the Caris and the Cheba Yuris, Kado Tesor Tunda, Kari Yuri Lando. Tinit and Choling Purpala, that Napo side one, Gaching Napo side, Napo, the Humbo, Nitin, Trapo can sound out race. Napo, the Humbo. Then it please the Tamjela America Hakondo. Napo Kungandoa. America got Purpa Hakondo.
And so now question number 3. Dear Lama, please guide us on how to consecrate the new Perba. So we've done that. And I see the ribbon that string around the Perba in the Chodlin Tesar is black ribbon. In the Drikun Kagyu, it's blue and red. Why do we have these differences and what are the meaning of the color? So in the Chodlin tradition, yes, there's black, and actually the meaning is black and blue. The colors of black and blue hold the symbolism of wrathfulness, wrathful activity. They hold a wrathful symbolism. And so for the Chogling, they're using the black. But actually, so even the police, Lama Abu said, in the US wear black and blue uniforms. So they've already got it figured out. They know the symbolism of the colors. Black and blue means we mean like wrathful business here. So yeah, the police, Lama Abu said, already have it. They understand.
Then Rimboche Sundo Humbote Yap Sundo Mabote Yum Sunzi Tedachiri Sundo Nazo. Then La Chin Gumpanane Nazo Propak La Re Humboche Carpoche Mapoche Som Yuri Nazo Gumpanane Propala Som Tasha Yuri. Then Propak Hangotela Humbotan Marpotan Carpo Som Yuri Custom from the dollar.
Kusum. Oh, lasso. Ani gomba nangla yang ani di karpo marpo den ngumpo di gorgi dar. Sumiore.
Yuri,
Porbala. Ani
Pala,
shamu yang.
Papa, Papa, Gola Tasha Yuri,
Gola.
Gala Tasha Yuri,
Red, white.
Rendendao, Dendao River, Dendao, the Humpo, Marpo, Carpo, Nanato Yuri. The Tasha Yuri kill, then they will prepare to kill and the love Tasha Yuri.
And so within
Custom Tumpa, Tani, Papa, Humpo Tang, Marpo Tang, carposom doa for back Yangola.
And so in the monastery, they actually use 3 different ribbons. So in our tradition, in the Drukun Kagyu tradition, there is a blue and red ribbon tied around the neck of the Perba. And Rinpoche says that the blue symbolizes the Yum and the red, Yab, the Yab, and the red symbolizes the Yum. And so the father and mother. So the blue is the father and the red is the mother. But in the monastery, Lama Abu said they use the 3 different colors of this cloth that's tied around the neck. They use blue and white and red, just like in the symbolism within the colors of the face. And what these symbolize are the 3 kayas.
Okay, that in it proper Yami Sika that Yiba in the Yiba. That somebody don't tell you.
Yeah, Tadrison.
Yeah, that Yiba.
So now question number 4. May I ask how to use the Perba during the sadhana practice? And outside the sadhana, are there any ways to use the Perba? Is it necessary for a VAJRAKILAYA practitioner to obtain a Perba? What's the difference if we have a Perba or do not have a Perba?
Okay, then Perba Nyani Sika Perba Yoga Yuris, then Ravina na Perba Chopja Yuri, Perba Perba Jua, then Perba, then De Marina, then Yaptam Yum, Perba Ni. Then the Perba Go Yuris, Perba Nyani Sikaps.
Gondakati Sarpamanduk.
No, that was in the Perba Nyani Sika Perba Kanda Pitu Tangori Lando.
Really?
Or the Perba Nyani Sika, the Perba, the Perba Drupakati, the Nichin Cordianary, that Perba reach. Perba Drupakati, McDean of Gorua.
Lasso, yeah.
Then Tata Nagi Senapsi, Tadops of some sea from the Tenet, Perba Yetakala Yarkiane. That and the Sigoris.
So with regard to the first part, how do we use the Perba during the sadhana practice? So we understand that the Perba is something that performs the function of the support of our practice. It is the support of our visualization. And so it is something that we use as a physical support, as the foundation of our practice. And for example, also, so we have one next to us in our practice place, or we have one and we have them on the mandala. And they actually act as an object of our support, like our mental support of practice.
Okay, then Nyamlin says her do Perba can't see Gori Lamdo. Then Nyamlin says her to Perba Chamber, nothing. Chuban and Shan Yajugorua. Then Perba Chingcho, then Nag Jumbar Zubola Suma and Gondian and the Yuri, not a poor name, that Perba. Kaki Suma in Lama Tamjik Synapse, we're going to Perba. Kibana Yan Kornuma Yuri. Yena Yadanga, okay, Korgon, that Kabe Kaboriva, Perba Chimbo. Then Chungchong, not a corner and regulated. Then it Yami says out that in Chupan and Shana Yajugorva, Kunan Kibari.
And so now what about when we're finished our formal practice session? What do we, are there any uses for the purbas? If it's a large purba, then after your practice session is finished, then you can place it on your altar or your place of practice. And also if it is a smaller purba, then you could wear it somewhere on your body. It's something that you could wear. Lama Abu said for them in Tibet, for example, not the large ones, because it would be difficult to carry around a large one, but they would wear like around their waist area. They would strap around like on your belt nangjin. Yeah. And so kind of wearing it like, on their belt around their waist. Then you could wear it. And so you could wear it. And also, so in Tibet, it was very traditional for practitioners to have the Lama bless the purba, and then they would wear it as protection. But for us, also large ones especially, we could just place it on our altar.
Okay, then purba yosa ka din ubora din and organ then it content on nam then direct local kind of again direct and then offset zone over the time.
And so we have actually there is a foundation of like a foundation vessel that the purba can sit in. And so there's, for example, there's a part of the practice where we're holding the purba, and then there's in the sadhana, then we place the purba in its stand. And so there is like just this a little support where you can just have the purba then sitting in its stand. And so that also afterwards, when you are placing it on your altar or keeping it somewhere, it can stay in the stand.
Okay, then it purba nyang sika purba yinje minje go revelando. Then that Taban Tompong na ta purba che min and here jore. Then I saw let ambo pala. Then it me back at the end of purba. You go yoris.
So is it necessary to have a purba to practice Vajrakalaya? So if one, for those practitioners of very, very high view, of high level view practitioners, then they do not need to have a physical purba. But for beginners like us, actually, we should have one because it's an object of our support of practice. So it actually supports our practice. But once a practitioner reaches a very high view, then it is not necessary.
Okay, then that purba you me chepa gang you that jipan da you na me tin da me na then the tang about it. Then it's all took up see go ya gang you is then it's all the chapter category about him.
And so the last part of that is really what's the difference between having a purba and not having a purba. And basically the last part covered that. It's really about if you don't have, a physical purba, then you don't have that object of support, of practice support that holds, allows you to have that presence of support in your practice. Now, number 5, may I ask how to perform the soak offering in Vajrakalaya sadhana, please? What are the substances that we should prepare in a simple way or in a traditional custom way?
Okay, then then so John Jorba Yunana to you John Jorba Yunana then so Kang Yaya Kang Mamang Shango Yuris. Then it John Jorba me then it to so me not me and Tabden Dawson and the Yuris. Then 다 then so senabla then ye nang ten ye nang ten then dabo so senab maze ngone ten sobdar don chungchong ji so len go yore then so thong du then so senab si dambo pomba ke sanjang we then me long cho 대게 매초 long 그 상장
So now, with regard to performing a soap offering and what substances we should prepare, actually you need to take into account how much time, if you have time to perform the soak aspect of the practice, and what are your means? What are you able, like the soak offerings and substances, what are your means? What are you capable of providing? And so if you don't have a lot of time or means, then you need to adjust how you're doing soak. And so, for example, if you don't have a lot to offer and you're not able to offer a lot, like make your offerings extravagant, then you could do it just very conveniently and very basically, and that would be fine. So really you have to look at your own time and how much you're able to offer and provide, like, what are your finances and so forth, those considerations. Now, at the beginning of soak, before we actually come to the soak practice itself, there's something that is called the liberation portion. And so before we partake of soak, then there is a portion of the soak that is the liberation portion that is offered. And that's the first section of the soak. And also you can read that within your sadhana. And so that's a separate from the soak offerings themselves. That's a separate portion that is offered as a liberation portion. Then next comes to the consecration or blessing of the soak substances, through which the offering substances are purified and cleansed through fire, wind, and water. They are cleansed and purified. That is the first step of the soak offering. And you can see that also in the sadhana.
Okay. Then Prabhupada Nindran Kase Sagori, that Prabhupada, that's all test of an indicate. Trupa, Adan Trupa.
Anton Trup. Trup Chu.
Marima Dachan Tava.
Oh, super. Oh, lasso. Okay. So now question number 6. May I ask about, and so that's a little bit about the soak. That kind of answers that question number 5. Number 6, may I ask about how many Vajrakalaya mantras to accumulate in the, how to visualize correctly during the mantra accumulation. And so it says specifically how many Vajrakalaya mantras to accumulate and develop in completion, and how to visualize during mantra.
Oh, then Prabhupada Nindran Kase Sagori, Loa, then Prabhupada Nimbalambam Gosago, Sarwan Drug, or the Lamdoa, Drudel and Bumble Sago, your is. Then in hard debtor cups, then Mipakanda Gondo, then Hamek, then I think 10 Angigoro.
Oh, Gondak, that's Trakya Chesong, Yankya Yapoko Machon.
Prabhupada Nindran Kase Sagori Lamdoa. Ne Drudel and Bumble Sagori, Drug Yorua.
Drogosena?
Om Benzar,
Drogo.
Drogo. Drogo each 100,000. Then it Prabhupada not the backups, Mubakanda Sigori Landoa. Then tell it the Prabhupada Nibandu Donya Yua, then I get you got figures.
Okay. So now with regard to reciting the mantra and how many we need to recite Rugu Rerela Bum Chik, the name Bum Gu. Go Yoruba, Bum Gu.
Yes.
Okay, so there are 9 syllables in the VAJRAKILAYA mantra, Om VAJRAKILAYA. So for each syllable, Om VAJRAKILAYA, there are 9. And it is said in the instructions that 100,000 times reciting each of those 9 syllables. So for Om, Benzar, and so on, 100,000 each. So that would be 900,000 altogether, 900,000 to satisfy that. And then how to visualize? Actually, it's said within the sadhana practice, there are instructions that are detailed of how to visualize.
27 and the Sadhana, Dagi took so hunting and Jepale was the subject true. Sasan Laya, Todan in a court. Kosong Toges and Latamji, On Kara Amar, Hongteng Sunjet. Naba Chapa Bata soon, Ranket Nesum to Palmer Chepa Tem. Tate Dala. Then I hit that. Down the young things logo is to me. Then hunting the Zen true. Subject Saxon Fly. Tamji Kokna Batamji get in it. Sentient Tamjilas La Toki Batamji. Our teams on Dow to Dankor. Then the Kokna Batamji Kosong Tone to me. Om Hong Tamji. Chapa Papa, Pabne Rank Lunga East on a Tem. That end out going for Sarva.
So on page 27 in the sadhana, so right before it lists the approach mantra, the Om VAJRAKILAYA Sarva Bignam Bam Hong Pei, the 9-syllable mantra, right before that on 27, where it says read aloud, it says light rays radiate to the 10 directions from the seed syllable and the mantra string at my heart and invoke the essence of the 3 roots sacred bond. All their blessings of body, speech, and mind descend like rainfall in the form of white Om, red Ah, and blue Hong, dissolving unobstructedly into my 3 places. Then all the blessing and power of all the victorious one's compassion in the form of inconceivable VAJRAKILAYA deities, large and small, gently fall and dissolve into me. The deities of my body mandala and so on. And then it explains all of that. So that's the way one is to visualize the meditation. And so here at this point, so Lama Abu said, read this section again and again, so that you really integrate this into your understanding and into your practice. So it really becomes second nature. And so basically, right before you start the mantra, then the blessings of body, speech, and mind have all descend like rainfall, and white Oms, red Ahs, and blue Hongs all dissolve into your places. And then you think that you're endowed with the power and the blessing and compassion of all of the victorious one's compassion. All VAJRAKILAYA deities have dissolved into you. And then you receive the blessings of body, speech, and mind residing within your channels. And then you recite the mantra. And so Lama Abu says you could just read that and follow that instruction.
Tene za an chu inde tene lama ye dan karo lan chu bambu tene za han chu inde tene wa da dok tham je lan chu ne Then draw the Sama Tani, Dorji people and your songs and then Tangan reserve something there's a true borrow. Authentic is.
And so as the light rays are dissolving into yourself, you are receiving, or as the light rays radiate out, then all of the blessings of the Lama and Yidam and Dakinis are all absorbed, and the blessings then go out to all of the beings in the 6 realms, and all of the beings of the 6 realms then transform into Vajrakilayas. And so that's, and then at that point, then there is the recitation. And so oneself as Vajrakilaya and all beings of the 6 realms now having transformed into Vajrakilayas through the blessings of the Lama, Yidam, and Dakinis, all recite the deity together.
Okay, that isn't the give it.
And now question number 7, please show us how to do the mudras of the Vajrakilaya deity. And then it lists particularly on page 7, 23, and 21.
Page 7, right?
White Torma.
Red Torma. Red Torma Lata. Benza Amarta Janata Synapse is a so Baba and young. Then Oma Ah Hong, Oma Ah Hong, Om Weaver, Oma Ah Hong, Oma Ah Hong, Oma Ah Hong, Temason. Then Oma Treteve, Loka Pala, Sapara, and Benza Sama Zado, then the Sigo.
Okay, Lasso Dene Lakbar Yala. Okay, so
Oma Ah Hong, Oma Ah Hong, Oma Ah Hong Zo. Then Oma Treteve, Loka Pala, Sapara, Benza Sama Zado, then I pepio love you.
So let me, up until this point, so we've started at the very top with a purifying mantra, cleansing and purifying the white torma with Om Vajra Amrita Kundali Hana Hana Hong Pate. So that's a blessing mantra to bless the torma. And again, purification with Om Svabhava Shuddha. And then Lama Abu showed the Om Ahung mantra 3 times, Om Ahung, Om Ahung. And then Om Prithiri Dewe Lokapala Saparivara Vajra Samaja, Lama Abu demonstrated that. And what that means is now you are invited here. Please come, you are invited.
Yeah, then Om Treteve, Loka Pala, Sapara, Edam Balinda, Kaka Kaya, Kaya. That people there's a dancing Churochi la for you, that Churochi. Kaka Kaya is in a Chula for you.
And so we had the please come with Vajra Saparivara Vajra Samaja, and now with Om Prithvi Dewe Lokapala Saparivara Idambalinta Kakakai Kahi. Now this means now please eat, please partake of this.
Then Om Treteve, Loka Pala, Sapara, Agam, Padan, Rupe, Dupe, Aloke, Gende. Nevete Shapta Padisai Sotin, and Chupam before you.
And this is now when you offer these substances to the guests that have been invited.
That I Chupa, nothing.
And so there are 8 different substances that are offered.
Okay. That taking the
So perhaps that is finishes page 7. Now page 23.
23 is
Well, let's see. Oh, maybe it's the same, right? Yeah, Om Vajra Argam Padyam Pushpe Dupe.
yeah, Chigwari.
Yeah, so those are the same 8 offerings.
Oh, the Javaringa Saja, Dara Javaringa Saja.
Hola, so.
Okay, then Saja Tela.
Deep culture, now page 21, Marabe. So
Yeah.
now if you're following along in the text, we're going back to page 21, which shows the mudra of the 5 Buddha families.
One Buddha family is da Dambun da Window, was it? Jim Jot. The Om Naban Namze Dambu Jabla, you can do a Jabla.
So now at the with Om, with the syllable Om behind the head and with the middle finger extended, then we have the mudra of Vairocana behind the head with Om.
Om Tensani, Teninda Hong the Tawala.
Okay, and now Hong with the index fingers
The tuba.
extended with Akshobhya at the forehead.
Oh, Hong Tene Tam River Tam.
Now
Yeah.
Tram at the right ear with Ratnasambhava.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sure. So, sorry. What's it done? Hong, so,
So, Tram. Oh, so.
yeah. Now that not so do. Om tenderva.
Okay, so we're going to go back and start again. Yeah, Om with the middle fingers behind the head, Vairocana.
Hong,
Hong at the forehead, Akshobhya, with the index finger.
Tang,
Tram at the right ear, above the right ear with a ring finger with Ratnasambhava. Okay.
yo,
Now, at the left, which finger? Okay, let's see, with the thumb. Yeah, with the thumb. Nangwataye.
yeah,
With now Amitabha.
ha, small one.
Ha. Okay. Ha. Is it a or ha?
Ha.
Ha. Okay. Now
Ha.
ha. Okay. Amoga Siddhi at the crown with the little finger.
Yeah, little finger.
Mhm.
Okay. Next one.
So is that Yingerela?
Can I go on?
Song.
Okay.
So maybe one more time, Lama Abu, for the
Okay.
video. Can you just do it with the video?
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh. So. Sorry, finger. So. Ha. My fingers.
A little bit hard to see, but hopefully everyone could see that.
단 샤드 메뚜파 플로로 렌친 정데 잡
Sharla Michupa.
샤드 메뚜파
Uh-huh.
플로로 렌친 정데 잡로 남반 남제 상은 나와 다에 위서 동요 줘봐 된다고 그러다 아무다
So then, with any Jangla ni ani
잡로 남반 남제 제가 쳐서 잡라
Oh, so.
잡로 남반 남제야
Ani Nupla su.
다들 너블 라고 말이
Oh, so.
샬롬 너장 라고 말이 다 트라발라 잡라 남반 남제 되니 트라발라 메쭈파 되니 예라 레진 용된 이오나 나완타에 되니 찌워라 동요 줘봐 샬롬 라고 말이
Okay.
다다 지마텔
Lasso. Okay. So, okay, dine pelcha disropoto di drison. Ani lo nup shar ani la magona dine drison.
오케이 되니 다 랭을 사자 되니 퍼파 다 제바도 통고 제바
Now, question number 8. Dear Lama, as I know, if we recite one mala mantra, normally we recite the long mantra 7, 11, or 21 times, and then we continue reciting the short mantra until we complete one mala. But for VAJRAKILAYA, we recite the short mantra first, and then we continue with the long mantra until finish one mala. Is my understanding correct? What is the correct way to do this?
그런 걸 납득 된사리가 담보 퍼파 님바 통한테 만보 쏘고래 되니 님바 랭한테 콘도 곁에 되니 이에 쏘고 말이 되니 단 차는 높을 값은 로나 되니 좀 님바 통한테 쏘줘래 봐 근데 랭한테 안 쏘고 서 말이 되니 나도 퍼파 주안 쏘돼야 통한테 용을 못 쏘고 요래 지도 레레사 니레사 되네 통한테 상 데레사 쥐레사 가레사 사나리 대투단 동거래
So dene trengwa chik ani drupta yana dene karigore trengwa chik la.
야 통한테 통화 찌리 와 되네 ring한테 잘 쏨동난 되게 오케이
Ani tangpo di tongwa tangpo di ringwa
no
hengsum tangpo di tongwa.
야 당보 통화 동거를 온 배자글 끌라 그런 인바나는 당보 통화 도거리면서 ring한테 도거 말이야
Holy ani din ringpa tengsum dijela. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to, so with regard to doing one mala of VAJRAKILAYA, to accomplish one mala, then it's actually the shorter mantra that one primarily recites. So I think it's on 27, the Om VAJRAKILAYA Sarva Bignam Bam Hong Pe. So one would do that, and then 3 of the long ones to complete that one mala. So that is the way that you would do one mala. Mostly the short mantra.
3 times is over 3 times, right?
3 times the long mantra.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
one times that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then samla dena ani yung ringpo dena dene mangchewa di tungi.
망치하다 통화도 싸고
Yeah. And then if one is doing a long retreat and sitting for a long time with the mantra. And in their practice, then it would still be primarily recitation of the short mantra that one would do for the most of their mantra period in their practice.
Okay, that is what saying something. Then purpose in lab got the lab thing that
Yeah. Pelcher, ani sarjoyana tanda sana kirangi di kirangi de parela.
Okay.
Kirang jets joshi kendayana dekola.
Then not the purpose not the color. The shit to which is robbed on it, shouldn't take it away.
So now Lama Abu said we're actually technically we're out of time, but there was one request to just basically go over the structure of the consecration of the Perba. Is that okay with everyone? If so, should we finish here, or should Lama Abu give us a basic
Robbed on it.
yeah, just kind of a rough understanding of the layout of the consecration of the Kila. If you're following along in the text, it's on page 71.
Okay, then it that tambo purpose there then Kogor and Chubun corn the Kogor then there's in the purpose Kogor in the yogo yuri. Then it master seat corn the then purpose and then the Marta go to Sarsona. So can't that go yuri. Then it Rata corn the then it so some house so go yuri.
Okay,
Yeah.
So now at the beginning, just like we discussed before, the first part of the consecration is one will lift the Perba, and the shrine master will come around with the Google smoke, and one will just let the Google smoke envelop the Perba. And then next there's a recitation, and the mustard seeds will be brought, and 3 times you cast the mustard seeds onto the Perba. And then the shrine master will come with the Rakta, and then 3 times you smear the tip of the Perba with the Rakta. That's
Davichenko Akarpo, Kapo Union Yemechenko, Russo, Mom Arpo. Then ye Somongala, Java, Somongala, Sima Kebas and the tender. Do that day, then I hear. Then it Java Ranga Yanga, the Savung Nam, Momla Mambam down in Jordan Yuri. Then it's Savung at the so name Jordan did any. Java Renga Sangun and John Doyuri.
okay, maybe
Java Renga Sansin and John Sansin. Sansin shut the door, Dorje, Norva, Bema, Jadram, Kolo and John Doyuri.
And so now in the next part in the text is a visualization where it says, I visualize myself as the great glorious one. In my right palm is a white A upon a moon mandala. My left palm is a red mum upon a sun mandala. On the 5 fingers of my right hand are moon mandalas the size of lentils, upon which Om, Hum, Svam, Aham. The 5 fingers of my left hand are sun mandalas the size of lentils. And there's the mantra, which are Mum Lam Mam Pam Tam. Dissolving into light, the seed syllables transform into the 5 implements. And from these, the 5 families instantly appear as the 5 male Buddhas, and the 5 consorts. So it says the implements, it transforms into the 5 implements. And so Lama Abu just held these up, and the first implement was a Vajra, the second one was a jewel, the third was a lotus, the fourth was a double-crossed Vajra, and the 5th was a wheel. And so there's that visualization with the hands,
Oh.
with
Then renga yayam jo lamji sawar jo sansi nga te teni da sonne jon te jawa renga jon do yore.
and these 5 implements. Now, so we have the right hand and the left hand visualization and the implements. The seed syllables, the hands become the seed syllables, which turn into the implements. And then from these, the 5 families appear as the 5 male Buddhas and the 5 consorts. So the implements transform into the 5 Buddha families.
Okay, then jawa renga jo sadu jawa renga jo sadu teni om soba wa shuda sawa dana soba wa shuda hangs je sadu teni ogun da teni pupa zongo da pupa dana yura na jo table kala yura teni pupa la pa ge zonne teni samaya ho samaya tom benza inza le zota teni o pupa zongo ko yuris.
And so then you have the, so all this time, the Perba has been on your table before you, your practice table. And then there is the mantra of Om Mahasunyata Jana Sambhava Atma Ko Hum, where the Kila, the Perba, is purified into emptiness. And then there are the 3 mantras, Samaya Ho, Samaya Tvam, Vajra Anjali. And with Vajra Anjali, we now lift the Perba.
Oh, then da yayam jo yuri, da yayam jo ndi da pupa te teni yayam hyombar kyo be sancho sanjo ngover pupa kam ten se kyo teni hongyek la jo songa. Teni hong te laba na zongje te teni da te wood shone teni kak tem se shone teni hongyek la jo songa le hongyek la jo songa le.
And so now the hands have been brought together around the Vajra. This also symbolizes the union of the male and female deities. And this rays of bodhicitta light that emerge from this union dissolve into the Perba and transform it into a blue hung.
Okay, then Om Benza Kalaya, then the Tene, that are the Hunyak, the Tene, Sencho La Sor, Sencho, that Yayam George said the Tene Pugache, with Ama Pugache, and the Tene Sencho Johnson, Sencho the Tene, that kind of you, Hunyak Yongs of Jerbal, Trovon Tena, Sharje, Sa Ni, Jin Samba. Saye Pervata in Jacket Nampa, the Tate, then I get that. Yayam Jorn the Tene Hongyel and Jor, Hongyel the so on Ben, Tene on Benza Kalaya in the Tene, Sepuk the Marche. Tene Marche and the Tene Sencho prepared, Sencho prepared Tene, that Koran and the Nagi. And it tender you commit. Namcha Perva Sosumba, no Ardan Dimba. That then I go.
And now there is this mantra. So now, through the light of the union of the 5 males and female deities, the Kila has transformed into a blue hung, and with Om VAJRAKILAYA Hum Ja. Then there is this union of the male and female deities, and from their union, they produce an heir or produce a son. Then the son, S-O-N, the son, the heir is now produced. So as it says in the text, The Hong transforms into a dark blue, wrathful one, with one face, 2 arms, and 3 eyes. He holds a kila in his right and an iron hook in his left. His lower body is 3-sided sky iron kila with savagely sharp tip. He flashes with blue sparks of fire, and so on. And you can read this visualization all the way through here. But what we understand here is the Hong has now transformed into this dark blue, wrathful one from the union of the male and female.
Okay, then it is chapter na Jinkor Sumje, Lasso Namje, Tawa Om Kapu, and Demba Amarbo, Toka Hongo, Redin Simba, Josindwa. Then it Jinkor Sum, the Rang Savage Jinkor, then in Dunja Jinkor, then it same to Trip Jinkor. Jinkor Sum, Chada Yuri.
Okay, the dark.
Da Dunji, then it say Tata say
Okay. So now we are on, if you're on the new text, we're in the next section, page 75. The foreheads of the deities of the threefold mandala, there are marked with white om. So the foreheads with white om, throats with red ah, and the hearts with blue hong. So how do we visualize this threefold mandala? And the threefold mandala is the self visualization. So oneself as a VAJRAKILAYA, then the visualization before one, like in front of one, and then the sun, the supreme wrathful sun. So it is the self visualization, the outward visualization or frontal visualization, and the supreme sun.
Okay. Then tell on amount of that. And you got gong.
And so all of the deities of the threefold mandala, self mandala, frontal mandala, and the wrathful one, all the deities of the mandala, visualize Om at the forehead, Ah at all the throats, and Hong at all the heart centers.
Then it happens some man doing the thing that's Hama. Dambo Om Zentro. Then Ani Zentro. Then Hong Zentro.
And then we visualize from all of the deities of the threefold mandala, white light radiates from the Om, makes delightful offerings to the victorious ones. And then from the Ah light, there are recitations for the speech. So this is first the form, Om, then for the speech, Ah, and then Hong. So there are different sections where there's light visualized, radiating out.
Okay.
And this,
there's a time man joked and man joked and the Jankor Sonja, Dorje, Sonja, Savon, Soma, Urja, Conson, Sentin Tanja, so he hit one core. Redog Nyumba, Ned Young, Savon, Na, Sir, told the jar. Teto Boyan, Wood, Oma, Hong, some the jar. The Soren Dune, Dadan, same choke, Nesum the Temper, Consum Siba son, Wang Joar, Jor. Logitate, Balatane. Jinkor son the chance half or son, Dorje son the Tene. Dorje son the Trava, Jimba, Nicasum, Atensari, Tene. Dorje son the Savon, the Wood, the Consum Sentina. Chap, touching Kusum, Plat, Tamjak, Oma Honsum, Zentru, then it would come some Southern Salasum, Sibas on the chap, then it Samala Sinja Lap. He one got then new bottom part Janet in it. So he the Josona Marek, but this new ba. Marek this Nanto repetition Yishi Lako Yuranga okay. Then the water. Then it's 17 times the Samun times Pastor Janet and on Homson and Jor on Homson the Tenny Saint Joe got some told on a 10. Then it's Saint Joe got some told the Yami, but your songs on the Tenny on Homson so told.
And so now continuing on in the recitation. So we understand the three mandalas, and here it says, and I'm on page 79, the light emerging from the seed syllables of the three mandalas, the three Vajras, pervades the three realms of samsara and empowers the life force of all sentient beings with primordial wisdom. And when it says the three Vajras, then these three Vajras are at the are at the forehead and throat and heart center. Those are the three places, and empowers the life force of all sentient beings with primordial wisdom. And so this is bringing the section of bringing the three realms under my power. And it says the six afflicted states of beings living in the six realms of samsara are purified and transformed into the six seeds. With Anri, Sutri, Predu, these six seeds then melt into light and transform into Omahung. And so the light rays have radiated out, and all of the blessings of wisdom are gathered, and the negative emotions, the afflictions, are all purified into wisdom. And so all of the afflicted beings of the six realms are now purified, and the light gathers back, dissolves into the three places of the sublime sun and myself, and the three realms are brought under my power. And with Om Ahung, Om Ahung, Om Ahung, now we visualize that we have now become inseparable with the sublime sun. So we have merged with the sublime sun.
Okay, then Saba showed Samaya, Za Hong Bang Hong to the Tene. Oh, then that just had the preparator. Then Saba showed Samaya, Za Hong Bang Ho to the Tene. Propag Din and said,
And so Lama Abu just demonstrated the mantra that we would say at this juncture, where it says, we now stable this by reciting Sabavari Samaya Jahum Bam Ho. And so with this, with the mantra that Lama demonstrated, we now take the Perba and set it back into its base, into its foundation.
Okay, then take up the Za Hong Bang Ho Zenata, same show, and go song talk, Chama, Dana, Pabatela, near the Uris, the ne Java Mepa, the Nan Cheba Mepa, Kadu in the same show. And
with this last four syllables of Ja, Hom, Bam, Ho, we now become inseparable from VAJRAKILAYA, from the sublime sun, from VAJRAKILAYA. We understand that we regard that the body, speech, and mind of the Supreme Son, the wrathful VAJRAKILAYA, have now become inseparable with us, and that we are never separate and always present. These are always, we are always inseparable. Mhm. Oh, into the Kila is never separated from the body, speech, and mind of the Supreme Son. It has now become inseparable in the Perba. Not so much they kilko or Kila nangla. So now the Sublime Son is residing in the Perba and will be ever present and not separate.
Okay, then that then our robson in that then our ship shipping ya wash maritini to swat mabun gorson in the that. Tintina yagi, the need samara to the chair. The near that can't kitchen our lovely. They pin for you. And 7-0 gis.
And so now that is just a basic instruction of an overview of the consecration of the Perba, and actually more in detail than that, I don't know so well, and I've offered my instruction to the best of my ability, and now we're out of time, and it's taken a little while to get through that, and I would like to say thank you all very much, and I hope that what I've been able to offer tonight will be of benefit to all of you.
Okay, take care yourself. Everybody take care. Delay.
Thank you so much, Lamala. Thank you so much, Diana.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, a little bit late. Okay, good night.
Oh, our fault. We didn't connect you right away. I'm so sorry.
There's something
Thank
happened.
you so much.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Bye-bye.
So Lama ABO, yeah, for the past 2 days, our Vietnamese sister, Thao Nguyen, she was doing the translating for you yesterday and today also, and she did a really good job. So we just want to thank you for translating for you. And also thank you, Diane, for translating into English.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you so much.
Of course, my pleasure. Good to be with you all.
Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Miranda, for organizing this for all of us.
Oh, thank you,
Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lamala. Thank you, Diane.